Salute to you all. The brave never fall. Self-love through freedom and connection. So feel free to connect to the brave never fall on these social media platforms. If you find anything of value in this following podcast, hit that like button, subscribe and share, and support the brave and bold tribe growing one purposeful soul at a time. How are you feeling? Take a moment to do a self-check-in for yourself. How are you feeling mentally? How are you feeling emotionally? How are you feeling physically? How are you feeling spiritually? Are you feeling balanced? Are you still journeying on an intentional, purposeful path? How are you feeling? Balancing yourself is a healthy daily practice that will reliably keep you in harmony with your entire mind, body, heart, and soul. Clear your mind. Take a moment of silence for yourself right now in the moment. You are here now. How are you feeling? Love has an unexplainable energy, more beautiful than the word itself. Love is a form of energy, and many different people use it in many different ways. Some use it to gain some type of advantage in life. They use their love to couple with passion, and they use it as a form of purpose and discipline. While other people use love to hurt people. They use it in a way where they can take that love and turn it into hatred. And that hatred fuels some type of an evil monster that we all know of. We've all seen someone who was once loving and caring and kind and is the complete opposite of that now. Love was in this person and it was transformed, just as love is in someone else and is transformed into a greater sense of love. And that's beautiful. That's life. Life is about ups and downs. It's about all the aspects, the light and the dark. And we can't exclude any of that if we want the word beautiful to exist. And if we want the word love to exist. There has to be something to counteract it to make it special, to make you want to hold on to it, to make you understand when you have it, it's precious and it's something unique and special. Otherwise, what you get is resentment and hatred and evil. When you find love and it's in the right place and it's on the positive side of energy, that's a love you want to hold on to. And that is what makes that word so beautiful. When it means something, when it's unique, and when you know it's rare, the truest form of it. It's beautiful and it's rare. A moment in time is just that, a moment. Moments are full of energy, positive, neutral, and negative energies. The mind, body, heart, and soul is in a constant state of flux, both chaotic and harmonic. The balance between chaos and harmony is crucial. Like day and night, it is a dance these two things are engaged in constantly. The energy from the dance fuels love. Love in return fuels passion and purpose. Without truly understanding and recognizing chaos exists, love will not present its true definition to you. It will remain an enigma, a shadow, and a shell of what love could have been in your life. Silence the noise around you and remain still. You'll be able to feel the energy internally. As that energy of love, peace, and joy and purpose swells, you'll feel the arrival. You'll witness the arrival of self-love, self-discipline, self-control, self-respect, and self-awareness. But most of all, you'll witness the arrival of the most important thing of all, the arrival of you. You are the most valuable thing in your life. What type of energy do you possess within yourself? Positive, neutral, or negative? True empowerment is uncompromising. Energy, love, and purpose. You may have stumbled and fallen, but the good ones, full of energy, are brave, and the brave never fall. So I ask you again, what type of energy do you possess within you? Positive, neutral, or negative? Because the true empowerment is uncompromising energy, love, and purpose. Live to love and love to live. Episode 6, Channeling Energy from Love. Energy in life can be defined in several different ways. We always break things down in The Brave Never Fall. We try to get past those superficial top level layers and we dig into what's beneath those layers. How did that top layer get there? And energy is extremely, extremely important. And in many ways, it's misunderstood by some people. In my experience, I've noticed that the energy that comes from people, I think we all recognize it in a certain way. We may define it in different ways. We may look at it as, oh, this person is always up and at 'em. They get up at the extreme early hours of the morning, and they go to bed late and they get a lot accomplished. High energy people. Then there's other people where you might say they're energetic. They have a buzz about them, some type of electricity to them that is making them, when they walk in a room, their presence just kind of lights up the room like a light bulb. And then you have some people that say, well, they got that energy about them. They got that it factor, and it's unexplainable. We don't know what it is, but they just have it. And then there's that aura about people. It's, it goes along with the presence and the essence of a person, where someone just has this energy about them that is soothing and calming. So there's all different types of energies out there, and everybody has a form of it. The question is, can you tap into it? The question is, if you could recognize what type of energy you have, and you can recognize how most people respond to your energy, it kind of gives you a blueprint of who you are. Now, it doesn't mean that you're allowing other people to judge you and you're going to take those judgments with a framework of judgments and build some type of foundation off of that. I don't think that's healthy. I don't think you should go that route. I think you should look at it as, my energy is clearly giving off some type of a vibe, an aura, that most people react to me in this way. How do most people react to you? Because you are the common denominator. No matter how people react to you, if enough people are reacting to you in a certain way, it tells you something about yourself. Again, doesn't mean that's a judgment. This is something you're doing for your own self. This has nothing to do with other people. This is you being able to feel out how your energy impacts other people. Your presence and your essence, how does that impact other people? When you walk in a room, do people look at you? And if they do look at you, are they looking at you in a way where they respect you? Or are they looking at you in a way or that you're a failure, you have lost potential? Are they looking at you because they think you're too much? They don't understand you? What's the story there? What's the story behind people's eyes? That energy is something I feel you can tap into for a positive effect. And it's something that I think about a lot, because again, we can talk about the word essence. Your essentially your soul, who you are, what lies beneath the skin, the true version of yourself that we have yet to explore, because we don't know quite what is driving this vessel, the soul. What is that? Is that the true version of me? And if it is, can my soul be manipulated by me, by my actions? Can I literally let my soul down? Is my energy coming from my soul, or is my energy coming from my body? And these are questions that I ask myself all the time. And a lot of times I keep coming back to the answer of, my energy is coming from a combination of both. It's coming from a combination of both. If you look at something like, anytime there's a car accident, it's not just the car being in an accident. It's also the person driving the car that's in an accident. You can't have one without the other. Now, some people might say, well, what if nobody was in the car? Well, that's not true, because the car was built by a person. So even souls went into building the thing itself. Somebody had to drive it to its current location. So even if you parked the car and you were in the store and somebody hits your car, you still have to come on and deal with that situation. So essentially, you were in that accident as well. You are attached to this object. And when you think about that, that means if you're attached to this object, not only did the force of the car take the impact of the hit, you, the person, took the impact of the hit as well, because not only do you have to deal with the damage, you also have to deal with the person who also was involved with this thing. So now you got a whole bunch of different energies going on in a single spot. So let's break that down even further. So you have physical damage with the cars. That's a different type of energy, a literal energy, an impact of energy happened there. Now remember, the world is all connected. You have the person driving the car, physically driving it, that energy. And then that's the external energy of the vessel. And then you have the internal energy of the soul, who is trying to guide the vessel either in the right way or the wrong way, or maybe it's just sitting there in the gray area. Either way, there's a lot of different energies going on with something as simple as a little fender bender. We're leaving out a little fender bender here. We're not talking about a major accident where it's fatal. Let's just talk about bumper to bumper, shopping mall type deal, parking spots are scarce and someone just accidentally hit your car. There's a lot of energies go into that. And then that filters off to other people, because now insurance people get involved over this thing. And your family's affected. You might have to go get a rental car. You may lose some money. You may have to pick up more hours from work. There's a lot of different energies that just literally butterfly affected off of this one fender bender. And when you think about it like that, you start thinking about how many different layers, again, the layers to something as simple as the word energy and where it comes from. Now let's go back to that situation again. What if we're in a situation and somebody gets up and they have a lot of negative energy? They're apologetic about the physical aspects of the car. They're fully covered. They're good, but they're mad. But they're the one who caused the accident. They're more mad than you are. So now you have a conflict of energies going on there. A whole diverse range. It wasn't even this person's fault, maybe. But they're more mad about it than you are. Their car is less damaged than yours. Yours is more damaged. But you're awfully calm. But in that sense, you shouldn't be awfully calm because maybe you don't have insurance. But somehow you're like, hey, look, life happens, things happen. I get it. You see the roller coaster, the interwebbing of all these different energies that are unexplainable before that moment came into place. You can't predict these things, which is why you have to be ready for anything. You don't know when you're going to get into a car fender bender. You don't know the person driving it, and you don't know what their soul is driving them. The layers of energy are important to think about. Now let's stack this on top of something else. What if you stacked all that on top of love? What if you stacked all those different types of layers on top of love? Now you have something different in the construct of a relationship and cultivating a relationship based upon love. Because, again, if we're going to talk about the soul is driving the vessel, I believe those two energies are balancing themselves out. That's why I would say, your mind, heart, body, and soul, all in balance. Those are my 4 quadrants that I try to keep balanced out. And I do separate the heart from the body, because a lot of people say that the heart is in the body. And you say, well, the mind is in the body as well, and so is the soul. So you could just say body and be done with it. If you're gonna link either the mind or the heart to the body, either you're gonna exclude those for the body or just say body and soul and be done with it. Or if you're just gonna say one or the other, you might as well just break them apart into those little things too. And they say you have 3 brains: your mind, your heart, and your stomach. So those are 3 separate things, and they're all working together. Even if you wanted to call them all one, they're still different components with different jobs that have to balance together to be the best vessel for your soul to drive. And the energy that comes from that is important. If you're in love with someone and you have negative energy while you're in love with them, that's going to affect the other person, especially if they have a positive energy in love. Or maybe they're, unbiased and they're basically in the gray area. They're neutral love. They can love, or they don't care if they don't. So these energies have to be aligned in order for them to really balance out. Now, some people, you see some relationships where that's not an issue at all. You see people that have a very tough exterior. They look tough. They look like they're incapable of love. And they're the most kind, empathetic, compassionate people you've ever met. And on the other side, you see these little people out here who are sweet looking, and they look kind, and they look empathetic, and they're really cold monsters who are full of hatred and resentment, and they are playing victims, and they're narcissistic and full of ego, but they look kind. That's the way life is. So it's not just about the vessel, it's about the soul. And I believe the most energy that people feel is actually coming not outside the external side of the body, but the internal side of the soul. That energy that you feel from someone, that aura, that's the soul. That's just how I see it. Now, other people see differently. I suggest you go out, if you're interested in this thing, go and read about all the different types of interpretations people have on this subject matter of the soul versus the body, and which one is driving which. And can you quantify or can you study the soul in some type of way? Is soul just another word for consciousness? And that it really isn't anything. It's just really our soul is our brain. Or maybe our soul is our heart. Maybe it is a physical thing. But that's what's the interesting thing about it. No matter what it is, the energy is there. Regardless if it's external or internal, the soul is either there or it's not. Something is driving the consciousness. Something is making us want things to be better in our lives. Something is wants us to feel love and know what it feels like to really be loved, and to give love, or to accept hate and to project hate. Something has to be there to drive that emotion, that energy. Now, how do you channel it? I believe when people say that they tap into meditation, that is probably one of the best ways to channel your energy, to see where you're at. The exercise we do, how are you feeling? That is my version of tapping into my soul every single day. That exercise at the beginning of each podcast, how are you feeling? It's something I've been doing for a long time. When I wake up, in the middle of the day, and when I go to bed, and sometimes even more than that, I ask myself, and I go through those things. I ask myself in all the quadrants, how are we doing? It's just a check-in. Keeps you balanced, it keeps you aware. That self-awareness, we're going to push that very hard going forward, about being self-aware of who you are. Because being self-aware allows you to understand your self-control, your self-discipline, your self-respect, and your self-love. It helps you understand your true self and to trust your true self and to accept your purpose with peace and joy. And it's not a trivial thing. I think we can make it a trivial thing when we say to people, well, it really doesn't matter how much of your soul is present in other people's lives. That's a form of narcissism. But a lot of people don't understand that ego does play a part in everyone's life. We all have egos. And if we don't tap into what that truly means for ourselves, we can easily go down the path of narcissism without even knowing it. A version of narcissism, not that version of narcissism that they put in films and in television shows and reality shows that we see, where it's flamboyant and it's dangerous and it's hateful, abusive, toxic. We're talking about that smaller version of narcissism, where it's the me thing. It's the act of being spoiled and playing victim all the time, and the choices that we make because we feel we're entitled. The choices we make because we feel we're entitled, not the things that we get because we feel we're entitled. That level of ego, when you feel you should make a choice based on, I deserve this. That's an extreme form of narcissism. And we all do it. We all do it. And it can be, I shouldn't say it's extreme, but it can be extreme is where I'm getting at. It can get to an extreme form of narcissism if we do this enough. Again, if we keep adding layers, that's a form of self-discipline. And self-discipline, you're always trying to stay focused on what you're doing. It's not so much about adding layers. It's much more about just staying at the layer that feels most comfortable and is creating the most powerful impact in your life. When you keep building upon it, it can turn to something else. Certain things in life, I feel, you want to get to a point where you're like, okay, this is working great. The self-discipline is going to be maintaining this. And if it's going to be built upon, it's not going to be built upon a way where if I'm going to get something great out of it. Like, I need to take from other people to flame this version of myself or this aspect of myself. In order for me to keep this up, I need other people to do it for me. That is not healthy. That's codependent behavior. And again, that leads to a toxic relationship and a very narcissistic version of yourself, where ego is a form of energy leaning towards the negative. Then you have the people who don't care. And these people often are the ones that can get lost in the shuffle because they're either or. They're not too extremely in the positive vibe side, and they're not fully hatred and evil. These people are just down the middle. What people call normal. He's just a normal person. They're very unassuming people. These people's energy is, quite frankly, a big part of the network of what human life is about. Because you gotta have something in between. You have to have something in between. If you just have black and white and there's no colors in between, very boring life. You need all those different flavors. You need room to grow. In a certain aspect of our lives, we all were in the gray area. We all were. It's like when you start a video game and there's a choice to be made. Now, here's an example. My favorite video game of all time is Star Wars Knights of the Old Republic. It's a role-playing game with a very elaborate story. There's a big twist that, if you're interested in this game, I suggest any Star Wars fan, you have to play this game. But one of the things I loved about it was that it was full of choices. Every piece of dialogue, you had a choice. And depending on what you said and how you resolve situations, you either go to the dark or the light. And that meter slowly moves. And you can go back and forth as well. You can make 4 or 5 bad decisions in a row and then make 2 or 3 good ones, and you can just sway back and forth. And then at the end, even if you're a little bit over to the light side or a little bit over to the dark side, the ending plays out in a very black and white way, where it doesn't matter how in the neutral you were close to being. If you were even a little bit good, it plays out the scenario of the Jedi. If you're just a little bit bad, it plays out the scenario of the Sith, which is the dark side if you're not a Star Wars fan. And in life, we kind of have versions of that, where we're constantly, if we start off in neutral, and we're just kind of nudging. Every decision we make, we're going back and forth. A little bit over to the right, positive energy, a little bit over to the left, negative energy, and then we go back. So we're all in that gray area. The gray area is huge. It's just, what's your purpose? Are you trying to get over to that more positive energy side? Are you trying to get, or are you losing sight of that? Or are you not even aware of it? Again, self-awareness, you're not even aware that you're going in the opposite direction towards the dark. Self-love, again, challenging energy from love. You can also say channeling energy from self-love. Now you can look at that meter and say, all the decisions are going to be focused on going that direction because I'm aware. I'm woke. I understand the consequences of not fully understanding every decision I make. I understand the consequences of not understanding my ego. I understand the consequences of not understanding what my energy is to other people. Not being aware that I'm a toxic person. Not being aware that I'm narcissistic. Not being aware that I'm full of love. That I'm full of empathy. It goes both ways. You're in that gray area. You have choices. You have decisions. When you hit the crossroads and you make the decisions, fall back on you. Fall back on that energy. Fall back on love. Self-love. The decisions you make in life, they're always going to be tough. It doesn't matter if it's coming from self-love or it's coming from self-hate. Still tough decisions. But you still have to make them. You have to make them. So how do we make them? We make them through trusting ourselves. We either trust that we have not done enough and we're not prepared to make this decision, so we do nothing, which is a decision in itself. It's still an action. Doing nothing is an action. Or we say we're more than prepared and we're going to do it. We're going to take action and we're going to move forward. And I'm going to trust that I can do this, even if it may turn out to be wrong, but it came from a place of positivity, self-love, and I can learn from it if it goes wrong. I'm even more prepared. Versus, I don't really care. I'm just going to make whatever decision and hope chips fall where they may. I'm not going to learn from this, and quite frankly, I don't give a damn. That's not a great outlook to have for productivity and also for channeling a positive energy. People pick up on that kind of stuff. People pick up on it. And the people who are grounded in self-love, they are going to jettison you. They are going to leave you behind because your energy is not vibing. They're not aligned or in tune with your harmony. Your energy, your power, what you have inside of you is so unique that only you can really, truly feel it, understand it, and utilize it in a way where other people can only hope to understand it as much and as well as you do. Because no one knows you as well as you do. But you have an extremely important part to play in the world. So the refusal to tap into who you are is almost a refusal to accept the fact that you have purpose. It's an acknowledgement of the fact that you have given up on yourself. It's an acknowledgement that you have given up on yourself when you're not invested and self-aware enough to know that there is something inside of you that has not been figured out yet. And it's very presumptuous to think that you know it all. Devoting yourself to learning every day and leveling up every day and having the ability to say, I've done enough learning and leveling up today where I can smile and laugh about how in love I am with being alive. You appreciate it. You stop being afraid of it. You stop overthinking it. You stop trying to perfect it and you start accepting it for what it is. And what you get out of that is a positive energy. You've moved that needle from that gray area over into the light. And if you get over far enough, you get over far enough into that positive light, it's going to take something really, really big and a really dumb, horrible decision that you would make intentionally for it to just fall all the way back, not only to neutral, but past that, all the way back into the dark. Now you're in big trouble. Because now you got to dig yourself out of a hole. And you're not going to have anybody there most likely to help you. Because if you fall back too far, you're falling back into that jettison toxic area where people have had enough of you. They just have had enough. They're not vibing with your energy. They're not connecting with your soul. They're not aligned with your purpose. They don't understand who the hell you are because they know you don't understand who the hell you are. Now we've gotten to a place, if you want to talk about levels, where now these are the people who are going to play victim. These are the people that are going to scream and cry the world has been unfair to them, that they never had a shot in the first place. Unfortunately, life may be unfair, but it's unfair to us all. And we all have decisions to make. Life is cruel, but it's cruel to us all. We all have decisions to make. Who you were yesterday has nothing to do with who you are today. But that just means you have to own up to it. People don't know how you do it. How do you turn it around? How do you get from a place of darkness? How do you get out of that darkness side of the needle? I just want to get back in the gray area to get a fresh start. I just want to make it back to that crossroads where I made this horrible decision. Well, the way to do it is to own up to it. Take extreme ownership, as Jocko would say of it. Jocko Willink. Take extreme ownership and accountability for your actions and say, it's all on me. And you say it to every person that deserves to hear that. And even the people who don't. To the people you've never met. You got to start getting that self-discipline in your head that it's okay to apologize for a mistake that you made and forgive others for mistakes that they made. Forgiveness has a big, huge part to deal with redemption, coming out of that darkness. I've been there. I thought I would never get out of the darkness. I was in such a hole with people, with the places in my life, the things I had nothing. And I dug my way into the gray area. And now I am slowly moving that needle every single day by learning, laughing, and leveling up. Bravely and boldly moving forward. And I can tell that my energy has changed. My aura has changed. And I don't give a damn if some people just refuse to see it. Because that's what I'm saying about all this, is that it doesn't matter how much you believe in it. If someone else chooses to see you in a different light, they have to figure out why they're seeing the world the way they're seeing it. What other people think of you is none of your business. But it's an act of self-discipline. And when it's time, like we said in the previous podcast, that self-discipline will come to you. That self-awareness will come to you. That self-love will come to you. The self-control will come to you. You will start to grow. There was a great quote I heard today by Tim Ferriss. He was on the Jocko podcast. And he said, they wanted to bury me, but what they didn't know is that I was a seed. They were out to bury me. They wanted to bury me. But what they didn't know about me is that I was a seed and I would grow. That might be one of my favorite quotes ever. And when you think about that, that is what it's like to keep moving that needle in the right direction. When you get sunken down into that darkness and you can't find your way out, all you have to know is that you are a seed. You are a vessel. And you were meant to grow. Your purpose is to grow. You are never out of the fight. You are never exclusively in darkness. None of that's eternal. And you have enough energy. You have enough energy to push out of that nightmare you're in, that darkness you're in, that situation that you're in. You can get out of it. But you have to know that you're in that situation, and you have to know there is a way out. Self-awareness to get you there. And channeling all that energy into self-love will get you out of it. Finding out who you are will get you out of it. But you have to believe you can grow. You have to believe you can grow in a positive direction. In a positive direction. In a direction that is unique to you. They can't bury you if you're not dead. And even if they do, you will find a way to crawl your way out. That is self-love. That is channeling your energy in a positive direction. You have all the energy that you need in life. And you put it all towards you. You put it all towards you, and you don't waste it. You don't waste your potential. And if you say to yourself, I don't have any potential, I don't have a purpose, and I give up. Take a moment and realize that's not you. Or you would have given up already. There would have been something that would have truly made you give up. But you still have the energy to even think, I'm giving up. You haven't given up, because giving up is not some thought. You just do it. And if you haven't done it yet, that means you're still full of positive energy. You just have to tap into it. You have to figure it out. You have to trust that you can grow out of that darkness. That is life. That is a life of purpose. That is how you find a positive way to move forward. That is how you understand where your place is in this world and why you are so essential. That is why you are you. Your mission for today is an exercise that I hope you carry forward. It's something I do every single day. It's a form of self-discipline that will help you gain some energy, gain momentum, positive momentum. And that is wiping the slate clean every single day. One of the exercises I do is at night before I go to bed, I lay my head down and I say to myself of that day, basically talking to my soul, thank you, this version of me on this day, for getting me through this day, for accomplishing all that we have accomplished, all that we learned, from learning from the mistakes that we made today. You did your job today. That particular vessel, this is my soul talking to basically my vessel, as opposed to talking to my soul. To that particular vessel that my soul drove that day, thank you. So today I want you to do this. This is your mission. You will thank your body, your mind, your heart, and your body. Thank you for getting me through another day. Thank you for being reliable. Thank you for being understanding, for being strong. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. And I'm going to take all that you've given me and I'm going to give it to the vessel that I'm going to meet in the morning. And that version of me has a clean slate. That vessel has no idea about any of you other guys until I arrive in that body. And it's just going to pick up where we left off. And you have given me positive energy to put into that vessel. So that means your mission is to clear the slate every morning and to thank and be grateful that you're still alive every night, that your soul has a purpose every night. You've made it through another day. That is your mission. What you did that day is important, but it's in the past. It's time to look towards the future with positive energy. This is your day. You are here now. These are your moments. You own them. You are brave, bold, powerful. You do believe in yourself. You know you have more in the tank. You know the glass is half full. There is still more room for improvement. There is no end. Believe, believe, believe in yourself. You do believe in yourself. You do believe you can do whatever it takes to get the job done. You don't procrastinate. You don't embellish. You don't lie. You're true to yourself. Peace is in your mind. Peace is in your heart. Peace is in your body. It is definitely in your soul. You are greatness. You have purpose. Intentful purpose. You are here for a reason. You are ambitious. You are loving. You are kind, empathetic, compassionate. You are self-love. You have self-control, self-respect. You are joy, peace, freedom, happiness. You are connected to everything in this world and in this universe. And if no one has told you this today, I love you. You deserve to hear that. Salute to you all. The brave never fall. Learn, laugh, and level up.